it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm here creating a layout for Cocoa Vanilla Studio, and I'm using the new Colour Me Happy collection. I'm using mainly the papers from this collection, and I've chosen the more masculine papers. So I've got Leaf Litter, Star Spangled and Spotty Dot. So I've already used a little bit of these already, and I'm going to team these papers with the Happy Snaps paper from the Totally Rad collection, as well as the stickers from the collection. I've got from the new Colour Me Happy collection, I've got the snippets. So I thought there's quite a few of these, obviously, that will work really well with the papers from the Colour Me Happy collection and team them with the Totally Rad collection. And then I've got some of the Totally Rad ephemera just at the side here that I know that I want to incorporate. The actual layout is going to be this cute little photo of my son where he was, my daughter and my son like to set up little shops at our house, and they'll pull our coffee tables out and they'll pop the cash register and some of their play toys, and it was just a really cute photo I snapped of him one day when he was doing that, so I wanted to scrapbook this photo. And then what I've got here is a cut file from the cut shop, and what it was I think it was Boys Rule maybe, but I'll make sure to try and remember to link it below. And it was a cut file that had this circle that says awesome, and then these stars, so they're squiggly circles. So what I did in my software was I enlarged some of them to be quite big, and then I welded them together, these three here together, to sort of form a grouping. And I imagined that I was going to work on a diagonal, and I was going to pop my photo around about here. So I'd sort of created this on a 12 by 12 sheet on the design software, and I'd actually even drawn a 4 by 6 landscape box so that when I was designing this, I was able to move the photo box where I thought I would put my photo to see that everything else worked okay in the cut files. So I cut those out, and what I'm going to do is back them with some of the pattern papers to make them stand out. I'll back and mat my photo, I know that for certain. I've got the embellishments here to embellish with, as well as some of these really cool new snippets, which I thought there's definitely a few ones in here that I think would work really well. And I really like these sort of word strip looking ones as well. I think that lots of these will work and look really good on the layout. And then of course, because I've chosen this sort of colouring, and there's also a deeper colour as well, I know that this collection will just work perfectly. So what I'm loving about this new collection is that I can use bits and pieces of the older ones to create a new looking layout, and I think that's really cool. So I'll speed you up and get creating. My first step is going to be to back the cut files. Some of them I might leave just plain, but a lot of them I will back with the colour. I think that I'll back the colour just on the more inner circle of the cut file rather than the whole piece, so that I've still got that sort of see-through look around these top squiggled lines. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so as I said, my first step is to back those cut files, so that's what I'm doing right now. So all I simply do is put the reverse sides on top of each other, and then I use my pencil to trace, and then I'll just hand cut out those shapes. So I wanted the awesome part of that cut file to stand out, so I chose the green for that. I thought that was the colour that was going to give that cut file the most pop. And I did actually sit that part of the cut file against a few of the other papers, and I just felt like it wasn't popping off the page as much as I wanted it to with the others. So I've done, and I've cut some of it out. I've used the pale blue paper, that grey navy paper, and then the stars, which is the reverse of that sort of grey blue paper. And now I'm just sort of figuring out what I wanted, a good sort of scattering of the colours along that diagonal. So I didn't want to have too much of the green up at the top part of the layout, or too much of the blue, or whatever it might have been. So I just kept choosing the different papers and doing that sort of one at a time until I sort of got a bit of an even placement of those colours that still had, you know, a few yellow pieces or a few of the green touches. And if I don't, I tend to work in threes, as I've said before on my videos, but if I can't, say for example with that green, if there aren't three of that green circle, there'd be an embellishment somewhere that has green in it that still, that sort of balances that out in my mind. So I do add a little green label shortly, which I cut from the new snippet sheets. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through the Totally Rad sticker sheet and ephemera. As you can see to the right there, I've got a big pile of them. And I'm just trying to find any of the little bits and pieces, because I love my ephemera and I love adding it to my pages. So just trying to find any bits and pieces that I thought might fit on this layout. I was excited to find a use for that cute little robot on this page. I thought that why not? I may as well use him, and it's a boy page, and yep, he's cute, so I popped him on. And what I did to make his hand, I've sort of tucked him so that his hand is over the photo, but his feet aren't. And I think I just had to snip a little bit against his hand just to make him sit there perfectly. And I'm sort of doing the same with that totally. I'm sort of, that die cut word, I sort of weave it in a way that it's sort of under some of that awesome word and then over the top of other parts of it, just to give it a bit of an extra detail, I guess. So my idea is that I'd have that totally awesome as the title. I'd have a small cluster to the left of the photo, and then I'd have a small cluster to the bottom right of the page. And that's what I'm working on at the moment. So as I mentioned before, I was going to, and I did cut out a couple of the snippets from the new Colour Me Happy collection, which is the one that I've used on this layout as well. And I just like those little labels as just a bit of an extra layer, and I like to layer them under my ephemera and fill up some of the space that I find I want to fill up. I sometimes feel like the parts are a little bit empty, or I don't know, it just gives that little bit of extra detail. Then I decided to cut out one of the words from the snippet sheet that has all the little sort of tiny words, like a tiny word sticker pack, except you've got to cut them out. So I've added that just to the bottom of where the robot was, and then I decided that I needed to map my photo, and I chose that green because I didn't actually have a lot of that green on the layout. It's the colour that sort of stands out the most, that and the yellow, and I thought that would be a nice way of tying that green into the layout and popping that photo off the page a little bit. And I was just bending up the edges just to add a little bit of extra dimension. So as you'll notice, I haven't stuck anything down like usual. I am sort of just placing everything, and will start sticking, which I think is what I'm doing right now, once I'm happy. And I actually think with this layer I stuck a lot of it off camera just because I didn't want to. I'd sort of put all the placement with you for you to see, but I didn't want you to have to watch me take it all off and then put it all back in the exact same spot again, if that makes any sense at all. So I do some stitching on this page, and then it's pretty much finished. And what I do off camera is basically just add some splatterings of Heidi Swap Colour Shine, and I add some journaling from my typewriter and a flare and a couple of enamel dots, and that's it. So hope you've liked this video today. Don't forget to check back and follow along. I will have some more coming. And check out Cocoa Vanilla products at cocovanilla.com.au.